Hello and welcome to today's topic, which is supply and demand, one of the big cornerstones of economics. So, first, some definition. Supply means the production of goods or services that are available to be sold. Demand means the desire for something and the ability to pay for it. Note that you must have the money to pay for it. Just wanting it, if you can't afford it, is not enough. It's just dreaming. So that's not included in demand. Okay, the laws of supply and demand. So these are separate from the definitions. And these are rules based on watching how people act about supply and demand. So the law of supply says producers will make more of a product when prices are high than when they are low. This is based on the idea that if the price of something is high, the maker will make more profit than if the price is low for the same thing. So if he can make more profit, he will make more things to make that profit. It doesn't mean that if Toyota cars are more expensive than Ford cars, they will make more Toyotas. It means if it costs 60,000 to make a Toyota, they will make 30,000 profit if the price is 90,000, but only 20,000 if the price is 80,000. So they will make more if the price is 90,000 because they can get a bigger profit. So you can make a graph of the law of supply. So on the y-axis, you put the prices, and you will mark those from 1 baht to 10 baht on that axis. On the x-axis, which is the horizontal one, you put the number of hot dogs you will supply, or you will make for sale. So on that one, you will mark the numbers 1 to 20. So now draw an X in each of the positions below. At a price of 10 baht per hot dog, 20 hot dogs will be supplied. So go to the 10 on the price axis and 20 on the number sold axis and put an X there where the two join. At 8 baht, 15 will be supplied. At 6 baht, 12 will be supplied. At 5 baht, 10 will be supplied. At 3 baht, 3 will be supplied. And at 2 baht, 0 will be supplied. So put an X for each one of those and then join all the X's. And then note how the line goes from the top right to the bottom left of the graph. So here's the graph with all those numbers on it. And you can see that it goes from bottom left to top right, climbing. So this is a supply graph. So you can see at the left here, at a supply, at a price of 2, 0 are supplied. So what we're saying is, at a price of 2, the makers can't make any profit, so they're not going to make any. At a price of 10, at a price of 5, they're going to make 10. At a price of 6, they're going to make 12, and so on. So as the price rises on the price axis, the number that they make goes up. So a line like this is called a supply curve, C-U-R-V-E. So it's not a straight line. And it's different for every product. It can even be different for the same product in different places. So what sellers will charge for a cup of coffee in a cafe may be different in Singapore than it is in Chiang Mai. But it shows the law of supply, that producers will make more of a product when prices are high than when they are low. So let's check the graph. Does it show producers will supply more if the price is 5 baht than if it is 2 baht? Does it show producers will supply less if the price is 3 baht than if it is 8 baht? Notice how the line goes from bottom left to top right of the chart. Okay, the law of demand. The law of demand says consumers, users, buyers will buy more at low prices than at high prices. For example, if hot dogs were 2 baht instead of 5 baht, you might buy 2 instead of 1. So we're going to make a graph of the law of demand, the same as we did with supply. The y-axis is the prices. So we mark the prices from 1 to 10 on that axis. The x-axis is the number of hot dogs you buy. So we mark the numbers from 1 to 20 on the x-axis. So the basis of the graph is exactly the same as it was for the supply graph. So now we're going to draw an X in each of the following positions. At a price of 10 baht per hot dog, only 2 hot dogs will be sold. So go to 10 on the price axis and 2 on the number sold axis and put an X. At 8 baht, 4 will be sold. At 6 baht, 8 will be sold. At 5 baht, 10 will be sold. At 3 baht, 15 will be sold. And at 2 baht, 20 will be sold. So now join all these X's with a line. It won't be a straight line. So this is what it will look like roughly. So you can see at a price of 10 at the left, they are only selling 2. And at the right, at a price of 2, they are selling 20. And it's going from top left to bottom right. So a line like this is called a demand curve. And again, it's different for every product. It can be different for the same product in different places. So what people are happy to pay for in a cup of coffee in a cafe may be different in Singapore compared with Chiang Mai. And it shows the law of demand that consumers will buy more at low prices than at high prices. So let's check the graph. Does it show consumers will buy more if the price is 2 baht than if it's 5 baht? You do the checking. Does it show consumers will buy less if the price is 8 baht than if it is 3 baht? Okay. Now we're going to put it all together. We're going to put both curves on the same graph. The y-axis will still be the price, and the x-axis will be the quantity or the number supplied or bought. What happens where the lines cross? There is only one price at which both the buyers and the sellers are happy. At that price, the amount of demand, which is how much the buyers want to buy, and the amount of supply, which is how much the sellers want to sell, are equal. The place where the lines cross is called equilibrium. Equilibrium. Equi is like equals. It is the price where the supply and demand are equal or balanced. Everyone is happy. The sellers can sell all they make, and the buyers can buy all they want. What happens if the price is higher than that? Let's say the price of petrol has gone up, so the gas stations put their price up to get back the extra they pay for petrol. But they keep buying the same amount of petrol. The price will go up from P to P1. Because the price is higher, some people don't want to buy, so the demand goes down from Q to Q1. And this means the amount of petrol they buy will take longer to sell, and their profit will also go down. If instead of petrol they were selling tomatoes, that might be a problem. They need to sell the tomatoes quickly, or they will be bad, and then they can't sell them. What can they do to get people to buy more? They can reduce the price so that people will buy more. Now let's look at what happens if the price is too high. You sell hot dogs for 5 baht, and every day you make and sell 100 hot dogs. You have to take your mother to hospital, so you ask your brother to sell the hot dogs. He thinks the price is 4 baht, not 5 baht, so he sells for 4 baht. On the graph, the price has gone down from P to P2. The quantity you could sell goes up from Q to Q2. But there's a problem. You only have 100 hot dogs, like you normally do. But now there are more than 100 people who want to buy. What will happen? You will run out of hot dogs, and some people won't be able to buy one. When the situation is out of balance like this, there's a lot of pressure for the seller to change the price. If the price is too high and the tomato seller can't sell all his tomatoes, one way to fix the problem is to reduce the price so more people will buy. If the price is too low and the hot dog seller doesn't have enough for everyone, one way to fix the problem is to increase the price so that some people don't want to buy anymore. So let's test that conclusion. If the price was 8 baht, how many would be made? How many people would want to buy? So look at the demand curve, the red one on the left, at 8 baht. So go to 8 on the vertical y-axis, the number that would want to buy, and the answer is, if the price is 8, the number of buyers will be 4. The sellers will make 15 at that price. So if the price is 8 on the blue one on the right, they will make 15, and there will be more hot dogs made than students want to pay 8 baht for. So there will be a surplus, too many. So you can see there, the arrow on the left-hand one, at 8 baht, the demand will only be 4. But the arrow on the right one, at 8 baht, the quantity the suppliers will make will be 15. So they will make too many, and some people will have to take their hot dogs home again with them. Now let's look at, if the price was 3 baht, how many would be made? And how many would the buyers want? So at 3 baht, the number of buyers will be 15, and the number for sale will be 3. You can see the arrows there. So there will be less hot dogs made than the students want to pay 3 baht for. So there will be a shortage. So, summary, there is only one price where the number supplied for sale is equal to the number demanded, the number people want to buy. And that's the point on the graphs where the lines cross. Where they cross, the suppliers would want to make 8, and the buyers would also want to buy 8. What if demand changes? Imagine that 50 people came back to your village from refugee camps. What would happen to demand? It would increase. There's 50 more people who want to buy, maybe. And this would mean that at every price, more people would want to buy. So try plotting these figures on the graph and joining the dots. So before, which is the ones we've already done, so we had at 10 baht, 2 would be sold. So after, we have 3 will be sold for 10 baht. So the ones in the right are always bigger than the ones on the left. So plot the ones on the right on your graph. What happens if a lot of people leave your village? Answer, demand will go down at all price levels. The demand curve will move to the left, down the supply curve, and the price will go down. So conclusion, 1, if demand increases and the supply stays the same, the price will increase. Number 2, if demand goes down and supply stays the same, the price will decrease, go down. So here we have a graph, there are 3 lines on it. The bottom one is the starting demand curve. D1, which is the middle one, shows an increase in demand. People come back to your village. D2 shows a bigger increase. More people come back to your village. So it's moving upwards and to the right as there's more and more demand. So if we look at it on this graph, we have the blue demand curve, the old demand starting situation, and then we have the red demand curve, the new demand, and the supply, there's only one line, so it stays the same. So the supply curve in this case doesn't change. That's the one that goes from the bottom left to the top right. The decrease in demand from old demand, the blue one, to new demand, because people leave your village, causes a decrease in the price. So if you look at where the lines cross for the blue one, the price is higher than where the lines cross for the red one. What about changes to supply? So imagine that you are the seller. In future, you will get a government subsidy for 1 baht for every hot dog you sell. It would change the number of hot dogs you are happy to sell at every price point. So try plotting these points on the graph and joining the dots. So the ones on the left in the before column are the ones we've already done. The ones on the right in the after column are the new ones, and you can see at every price point they are higher. Okay. Question, what has happened to the supply curve? Well, now, unlike the previous one, we have one demand curve, the red line, and the supply curve, the blue ones, have moved down from S1 to S2. Question 2, what has happened to the point at which it crosses the demand curve? So, answer, it has moved to the right. Question 3, what has happened to the price? The answer is it's gone down from P1, where S1 crosses the red line, to P2, where S2 crosses the red line. So conclusion, if supply increases, demand stays the same, the price will decrease, go down. So let's look at this one. What if supply decreases from S to S1? Say you don't have time to cook so many hot dogs every lunchtime. The number supplied at every price point would decrease. The supply curve would go upwards, and the point at which it crosses the demand curve would move to the left. So the price would increase. So conclusion, if supply increases and demand stays the same, price will decrease. If supply decreases and demand stays the same, price will increase. And this is the end, my friend. See you again next time.